There once was a man, his name was Magellan, a Portuguese skipper, the girls found him cute.
Although Magellan was married, I couldn't find any historical evidence that he was considered cute, so I'm assuming that's false. The inaccuracy counter is now 1.
He sailed with 5 ships to find the East Indies.
Magellan's journey was not to find the East Indies, in fact, he already knew where they were. The purpose of the expedition was to find a westward route to them, as sailors had to sail east to get to them. The inaccuracy counter is now 2.
Then come back to Spain with a bounty of loot. Whoopee-tie-yi-o, happy Magellan, starting your journey with hardly a care.
It would be a bit of a stretch to say that Magellan started his journey with hardly a care, since it took him lots of time, effort, and energy for getting support for the trip. He even went as far as denaturalizing his Portuguese citizenship, and getting a Spanish one instead. The inaccuracy count is now 3.
Whoopee-tie-yi-o, strong brave Magellan, you'll find the East Indies, you just don't know where.
As we've already established, Magellan did know where the East Indies were. He was specifically traveling to the Maluku Islands, also known as the Spice Islands due to their involvement in the spice trade. Also, the paper that Magellan is holding is a map of Wisconsin. As anyone who's seen all the inaccuracies of Wakko's America would know that Wisconsin is a state of America. This song takes place in 1519 Spain. Wisconsin was annexed into the United States in 1849. If you do the math, the annexation of Wisconsin and the setting of the songs are 3 centuries and 3 decades apart, or 330 years, making this detail very inaccurate. Including the detail, the inaccuracy count is now 5.
They crossed the Atlantic and spotted a country. Magellan said,
"It's the East Indies at last!"
But then someone shouted,
"Hey, that's Argentina!"
Magellan did not mistake the East Indies for Argentina. Incidentally, Argentina didn't exist as a nation at the time, since native tribes were living there at the time of Magellan's landing, making Wakko's comment inaccurate. Argentina wouldn't be a nation until 1816. What actually happened was that Magellan anchored at a natural port in modern-day Argentina for the winter, naming it Puerto San Julian while he was there. The inaccuracy count is now 7.
Magellan got cranky and chopped down the mast.
I also couldn't find any evidence backing up this remark either, so again, I will consider this false. The inaccuracy count is now 8.
Whoopee-tie-yi-o, settle down, Magellan, put down that axe, there's no time to despair. Whoopee-tie-yi-o, keep trying, Magellan, you'll find the East Indies, you just don't know where. A great storm arose in the mighty Pacific. The 5 little ships were diminished to 3.
But this wasn't caused by a storm. The Santiago was shipwrecked while scouting on Puerto San Julian, and the San Antonio decided to desert the fleet in the Strait of Magellan and return to Spain. The inaccuracy count is now 9.
At last land was sighted, Magellan was happy, but then someone shouted, "Hey, that's Chile!"
Magellan didn't land on Chile, he landed on what is now known as the Strait of Magellan, located in Chile and surrounding water, so Dot's comment would be inaccurate. Incidentally, he didn't mistaken the Strait of Magellan from his final destination either. Thirdly, Chile didn't exist at the time either. It wouldn't become a nation until 1818. Like Argentina, Chile was inhabited by local tribes there. Considering that, the inaccuracy counter is now 12.
Whoopee-tie-yi-o, cheer up, Magellan, check out your map and don't tear out your hair. Whoopee-tie-yi-o, keep trying, Magellan, you'll find the East Indies, you just don't know where. It took them 5 months, but they crossed the Pacific.
Actually, Magellan's crossing of the Pacific took 99 days, which is around 3 months, not 5. The inaccuracy count is now 14.
Spotted a land that that was dotted with palms, Magellan proclaimed.
Yes, that's the East Indies.
But then someone shouted,
Hey, I think that's Guam.
There are three things wrong with this lyric. First off, Magellan did not mistook Guam from the Spice Islands, he stopped there to resupply. Secondly, some argue that Wakko is incorrect to say that Guam isn't part of the East Indies, because Guam was considered to be part of the Spanish East Indies due to the Spanish colonization of the Marianas a century after Magellan's expedition concluded. Thirdly, and finally, Guam was most likely not known as Guam at the time of Magellan's landing there. In fact, Magellan's anchorage at Guam is considered to be one of the first recordings of Guam's existence. The inaccuracy count is now 17.
Oops, Magellan, your fun little journeys become a nightmare. Whoopie-tie-I-O, keep trying, Magellan, you'll find the East Indies, you just don't know where. They sailed due west to the Philippine Islands.
The Philippine Islands was not what they were called when Magellan arrived in 1521. He initially named them Las Islas de San Lazaro. The islands were renamed to Las Islas Filipinas 22 years after Magellan died. The inaccuracy count is now 19.
Magellan was pleased as the natives drew near, but then someone shouted, I think they're attacking.
This is not only inaccurate, but a complete betrayal of events as they occurred. When Magellan landed in what is now Cebu, he managed to convert some tribes, and the king, to Christianity. The king wanted to attack anyone who didn't convert, and Magellan agreed, and therefore led the attack. Magellan lost the battle, being heavily outnumbered against the natives, who were led by Datu Lapu-Lapu. Also, the battle didn't occur exactly when he arrived, rather it happened 6 weeks after he landed there. The battle is now known as the Battle of Magellan, and Datu Lapu-Lapu is now considered a Filipino hero to this day. The inaccuracy count is now 21.
Magellan said,
What?
And got hit by a spear.
Spears were used to murder Magellan during the Battle of Magellan, but there were two types of spears used, those being the bamboo spear and the iron-tipped spear. The poison arrow and the camplien were also used. The inaccuracy count is now 22.
Whoopie-tie-I-O, farewell Magellan, you almost made it, it's really not fair. Whoopie-tie-I-O, oh ghost of Magellan, the East Indies Islands were right over there.
While it's true that Magellan never made it to the Spice Islands, by several definitions, the Philippine Islands are considered to be part of them. Also, Magellan landed in Guam, so Magellan did, in fact, make it to the East Indies. Also, the Warners are depicting the expedition as a washout. Although Magellan didn't make it, the survivors of the Battle of Magellan on Magellan's side did manage to make it to the Spice Islands without him. The remaining crew also managed to navigate the world, proving that the world is round in the process. The mapping of the Strait of Magellan proved very useful to European geographical knowledge of the world. So unlike how the Warners are describing it here, Magellan's journey was not a complete fiasco. The inaccuracy count is 23.5.